How to reduce errors and increase the quality of work. That's what we're talking about in this video. And I want you to know that if you implement the topics that we're going to cover right now, you will spend more time finishing and enjoying the work that you've done instead of reworking it and paying for additional costs. So what are the 2 keys to quality in construction? We'll talk about that in this video. What are the steps to make sure that it goes properly? And what are the 2 things that you have to make sure that this quality implementation happens in the field? Well, that's what we're going to talk about. Stay with us. All right, so let's get into this topic right now. Essentially, quality, or the implementation of quality on the project site, is really about 2 key things. Number 1, what does the owner and the authority having jurisdiction expect for the quality of work? And second, does the crew know about that? And are they able to deliver that? So what are the expectations? And are those expectations understood and being implemented? Quality is pretty simple. So really, all we have to do is find out, do we really know what's expected? And that can come from the plans, from the specifications. And it can and should, and this is a key tip, I hope you're writing this down, it should come from the owners themselves. Because even if the design intent has been translated to a set of drawings and to the specs, we want to hear from the owners and the end users, what do you want? If this was done properly, you would have. And really get that information. Some companies call that like the owner's top 10, right? The plans say one thing, but you hear from the owner, oh, that lobby is important, or oh, that stairwell needs to look like this, right? You really get those expectations. So again, plans, specifications, the rules and regulations from the authorities having jurisdiction, and the owners themselves. And secondly, just to keep this simple, and by the way, let me just go ahead and say, why am I attempting to keep it simple? It's because so many companies, and God bless them, not a big deal, but so many companies have these long, like 300-page quality manuals on how to implement quality. So it's the steps and the details and the prescriptive and proscriptive activities, right? But I want this to be simple. I want it to be in your minds and in your hearts. And I want you to feel like you can get it done. So here's the question. Can you understand for a particular scope of work what's expected? And I think the answer is yes. And then step 2, does the crew understand and care? And are they able to, with visual systems, actually execute the expectations? So can you as a leader, or you as a foreman, or you as a worker, whoever's watching this, understand and implement those expectations? I think yes. So in summary, do you know the expectations, and are you delivering those expectations? And I'm going to show you how. But first, let me actually ask you something and show you how to do something right now. If you want super cool content as we go, please go down to the bottom where it says like and subscribe, and go ahead and hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and give me any questions. That is a wonderful little how-to as we continue this journey together, and as you continue this content. I want to share it with you. All right, so let's get into the detailed steps. Number 1, the pre-construction meeting. You're probably thinking, oh my gosh, that's so boring, I'm gonna go take a nap and walk off. No, the pre-construction meeting is a jam. We just have to make sure that we're doing it right. So if you're watching my hands over here, you sign up a trade partner, right? You buy out the right scope, and then you do your pre-mobilization meeting or email, and you say, hey, these are the submittals that we want. This is what we need for insurance. This is when we're starting the activity, right? So you queue up the trade partner in this journey, or you as the trade partner have been like, explain what the expectations are, right? And then after the submittals have been delivered, reviewed, you've ordered materials, about 3 weeks before the work actually begins, you do the pre-construction meeting. So it's to receive all of those deliverables, right? The quality checklist, the quality plan, the safety contacts, right? Your safety plan, your submittals, the information to read and understand the drawings and the specs, right? So you're collecting information in this pre-construction meeting that happens 3 weeks before the work starts. And here's the key part. The superintendent and the foreman must be there for the crew. Because if you have the owner, if you have the general contractor, if you have the PM, that's great. But who's going to build it in the field? the superintendent and the foreman, okay? So they must be there. And here's why I always schedule it 3 weeks in advance. If the superintendent and the foreman did not read the plans and specs and get familiarized with our project, then I would be like, hey, do you want to, not mean, but like, hey, do you want to schedule it next week? Because I want you to come prepared so we can have a meaningful discussion, right? Or just give them 15, 30 minutes right there in the beginning of the meeting. But they must be prepared. And in the meeting, you'll go through how you're going to build the job, the schedule, the quality requirements, the specs, and the drawings, and the key parts that we must remember. And hey, the owner's top 10 are what they're telling us is important. And you will then leave with a checklist or with a visual feature of work board, which is a board or a 11 by 17, which shows here are the steps to follow, here are the pictures of what we expect, and it's highly visible and understandable by the crew in English and in Spanish if needed, so they can go install the work right. That is a pre-construction meeting. That is the measure of success. You must leave being able to say, like if I'm the foreman, I'd be like, okay, so if I do this, this, and this, you're happy, right? Yep, we're happy. Do that. Okay, I'm going to do it, right? You should be able to have that kind of a conversation, right? If I do this, we're going to be good. And the expectations are clear. Then it's on me, the foreman or the worker or the superintendent or the general contractor or all of us to go implement those expectations. Second, and I've already mentioned this, that quality feature of work board, that visual 11 by 17 or that checklist must become an actual tool. So I would just caution you, please don't make it into a boring text document that people are like, oh my gosh, there's so many words here, I don't want to read it, I'm going to freak out, right? That's called a wall of text. It's a barrier for people actually engaging it. I want something that's visual. I want something that's simple. I want something that's clear. My advice would be to get a standard format or a reference checklist in these meetings and use that as your meeting minutes. Don't go into that meeting being like, oh, here's a bunch of meeting minutes, right, in Procore or something else like that, something no one will read, and then try and create a separate checklist. No, why not just update that checklist and pull in pictures and text as you're going? And then have it in a place where everyone can see and everyone can use in the field. So that checklist has got to be as frictionless as possible and visible to everyone. 3, once a crew starts in the morning, they'll go through 2 key things. Number 1, the morning worker huddle. That's the 5 or 10 minutes in the morning when the entire project site meets and talks about the general plan for the day. Number 2, once each of the crews go from that general mass 5 or 10 minute meeting, each crew with their foreman or crew leader will go ahead and have a talk. They'll 5S their area, they will prepare for the day, they will fill out their safety preparation documents, they will do a bit of training, do their stretch and flex. In this meeting, it is crucial that every crew, every worker has that quality feature of work board or paper or 11 by 17 or at a minimum the checklist. And the worker can leave and say, I have my safety pre-task plan and I also have this quality checklist or this visual feature of work board. I can go now and do my work. That's step number 3. Number 4, can the people in the field see the expectations visually? So if I was the crew leader, I would take that visual and I would post it up on the wall near my work or on the game box. That way, as we're going, we can see the standard and evaluate our progress against the standard. And if something isn't going right, we stop the work and we fix it with quality at the source. And so that becomes a really built-in quality system, meaning if somebody sees, hey, we're not following the standard, they can metaphorically pull or push the and on, like in manufacturing, and say, we're going to stop. We're not going to pass that defect on. We're going to fix it with the crew. So on my jobs, I always said, if you see a quality defect, you are enabled to stop the work, train the crew, and regroup. We do not do non-quality work that's not in line with the expectations. The other thing is, you superintendents out there, I know you're saying, well, hey, how do I play a part in this? It's called zone control walks. As you're walking around the building and you're looking at work zone by zone, and especially zones where work is about to finish, you will have this conversation with the foreman and the workers in a very respectful way because we're all one team. Hey, foreman, love what you're doing here. Can we go ahead and inspect according to that visual in the field, the work that you did yesterday or up to this point. I want to make sure we're on track before we finish on the deadline, right? Or before you finish in this zone. And you go through and do a preliminary inspection, not just big ones, right? But daily. Okay, where you have those critical handoffs. What I mean by handoff is this trade is about to finish and move into a different zone. Some companies like to do and I love this by the way, scope meeting or buyout meeting, pre-mobilization meeting, pre-construction meeting, and then schedule an initial inspection, which is a review of the work, right? And then do follow-up inspections and then final inspections. I love that. What I'm saying is, yeah, go ahead and host those formal meetings, but let's make quality and inspecting work a daily thing, or a weekly thing at minimum. So when you go talk to the foreman, you're like, hey homie, I love you, you're doing great work, you're about to finish the zone. Can we use your checklist real quick to do a check so the workers can finish their work while they're here and we don't waste your time, right? And then you say, all right, we've inspected it. Is everything ready for you now the next day? These are called zone control walks. You can find more content about this in the description below, and we will link you to some lean tact videos that explain it in detail with sketches. But the bottom line is, if you have those visuals, then make checking the work with those visuals a daily habit. And number 6, create a culture. If every time there's a mistake, somebody can bring it up and there's a safe environment, it'll happen more often, right? If you're inspecting work and actually checking it, people will be more apt to do it right. If you create a culture of teaching that this is important, you'll create a culture that this is what we do around here, right? So create a culture, reinforce those small behaviors, those small habits, and let people know, hey, this is what we do. We understand the expectations, we implement the expectations, we stop work when we're not meeting those expectations, and we inspect the work, because what we inspect actually gets done the way we expect, okay? So that is the final step. Create that culture, which are the common beliefs, right? Education and actions, meaning this is what we do in the social group. And here's something super cool. We are going to, no. This is you and me. I am going to link you to a Miro board that has these steps and some pretty cool checklists in there. And I'm going to link it to you in the description below so you can actually go use it. My desire for you is that you start to really grasp this quality control, quality assurance concept. Keep it simple and start to implement your way of managing both. I hope you have enjoyed this video. Quality is not only a quality system, it is a schedule system, and there's nothing better you can do to create flow and be on schedule than to build it right the first time. On we go.